Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. And today, Cathy and I are going to be responding to a question. How do you deal with telling others about your eating disorder, handling their preconceptions and stereotypical view, and fielding the questions they have? This question is similar to other questions we have done, but I think that we have the ability to kind of delve more deeply into some things in regards to this question. So, there are things that in this video that you won't have heard before, hopefully. The first thing that I wanted to touch on is timing. You always hear that saying, timing is everything, but it is actually something that can help you in a situation if you give it a little thought. For example, if you are feeling that you're ready to tell someone or certain people about your eating disorder, you don't want to just blurt it out in the middle of a conversation that has nothing to do with eating disorders. You probably wouldn't want to do it in a public place, perhaps, like if you're out to lunch with someone or, in a coffee shop or something like that. You probably want to have more of a private setting. Now, this is totally preference, but just as far as timing is concerned, when I'm talking about this, I'm remembering when I told my now husband about my eating disorder, which was in the first couple of months that we were dating a few years ago. And I think we were just, like lying on top of the bed together one night, and I sort of was just feeling very comfortable and very at peace and very in the moment, and we were just having a quiet little conversation, and I said something to him like, I'll tell you something you don't know about me, and I said I have an eating disorder, and I basically, I think I probably said I had an eating disorder. I consider myself recovered, basically. So I was talking more about my past than I was about anything that was currently going on with me at the time, but nevertheless, it's still kind of a big thing to say to someone that you're just starting to date. But it just felt right. The timing felt right, the moment felt right, and I felt comfortable with him. And I think you have to feel comfortable with the person or the people that you're with before you can kind of utter those words that are so near to your heart and kind of, can create a little bit of anxiety or panic. So timing. Remember that everyone has secrets. So this is your secret, but it doesn't mean that other people are just open books and tell everyone everything about their lives. And it might prompt other people to share things with you that you might not have known about them, and to them, that's their eating disorder. That's their secret. That's their, hidden situation in life that they're trying to get across. And maybe it's not as big as an eating disorder, or maybe it's not as serious, but to them it's probably pretty important. So you just want to kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're telling someone about your eating disorder. And as much as you're panicking about it and as nervous as you probably are when you're saying these things about your eating disorder, other people go through the same scenario for things and situations in their lives as well. You always want to remember that you're not the only one, and it really does make you feel better. It gives you another little barrier of comfort while you're talking. Okay, what else did I want to say? I'm looking at a list again, as usual. Eating disorders are not shameful. Part of the difficulty in bringing up your eating disorder to other people, handling their preconceptions and stereotypical view, as this person has asked in the question, it all stems from eating disorders as shameful things. It's not something to be ashamed of. That's something that people find it hard to grasp. There are a lot of times when the person struggling with the eating disorder feels it's so very shameful when the people in their lives who know about their eating disorder don't think it's shameful at all. Then you have the flip side where the person who has the eating disorder has come to terms with the fact that it is not shameful, but some people, they might think it's a shameful thing and they want to keep it hidden behind closed doors. You're going to encounter both kinds of things. You just want to be aware that it's not shameful. It's a problem. It's a struggle. It's something that you're personally dealing with, but we're all human beings and we all have our things in life that we find difficult. The other thing that I wanted to say is honesty breeds intimacy and understanding. So if you're honest with people, it's going to make you closer with them, and it's going to breed understanding. The only way that people can understand is if you're honest. So I always say give it your best shot. Honesty is the best policy, and it works pretty well. It's a little scary at first when you're taking that leap, but it does work. Something that I think is helpful, I mean, you obviously have to be willing to do it, but something that I think is helpful is writing a letter. You know, if there's a particular person that you really want to tell about your eating disorder, but you're not sure how to go about it, if you write them a letter, you write them an email, you can get all your thoughts out, and you can know that they're going to read the entire thing without being able to interrupt you. You know, if you were having a conversation, you would begin talking about this very deep, heartfelt thing, and the person you're talking to could interject. They could interrupt. They could start asking you questions in the middle of it, and it could fluster you, and it could, you know, get you off track. It could make you forget things that you wanted to say. You also might not be as clear or as honest because you'd be scared or you'd be nervous. It's hard to talk on the spot. So at least if you're writing an email or a letter, you can take your time and you can make sure you have everything in there that you want to say, and you know that they have to read that whole thing before they're going to talk to you. I mean, I would definitely put something in the letter like, I would like to talk to you about this in person, but for me, writing this in a letter was the easiest way to start it. So that you know, and they know, that they're going to come to you. And you can talk about it further, but at least you've said all the main things that you really wanted to say and get across. Let's see. Get backup. If you have someone in your life that already knows about your eating disorder, you could have them come with you and talk to the person that you're looking to tell. If you're just starting to tell people about your eating disorder, start with the easiest person or people first. For example, if you are extremely close with your mother, for example, I would suggest telling her first. You know, sit her down, whatever your preference is as far as getting things out in the open and explaining things. Say you tell your mother, and you know, it's an emotional conversation, but she's very supportive and she's very helpful and she wants to be there for you. When you have to tell your father, for example, or you have to tell your aunt, or you know, whoever else it may be, you know, have your mom be there. Your mom already knows. Okay, my camera cut me off a little bit there before. As I was saying, you know, you can have backup, and you can get that moral support from somebody else, which is a really nice thing and can be useful. Just don't forget to put yourself in the person's shoes who you're telling this to, because there's no way of knowing what they're thinking as far as preconceptions and stereotypes are concerned, but you know, if you're asking this question in the first place and you know that these preconceptions and stereotypes are out there, just kind of place yourself in their mind and, you know, see what you can say to best prevent those stereotypes from continuing. Just do your best. I mean, really, that's simple and, you know, one of those motivational speaker type things to say, but really just do your best because it's all you can do. We're not magic. We're humans. So we can only do our best and hope for the best, and that's pretty much my advice. And remember, if you're not accepted when you tell someone or lots of people about your eating disorder, if you're not accepted, it's not about you. It's about that person. And you have to remember that. And I know it's really hard to believe if it does happen that you're not accepted and, you know, you're misunderstood and it doesn't go well. But if you really give it your all, it has a really good shot at going well. And if you're not accepted, it's not about you. It's about that person. It's their problem and their struggle to see the light, and it's their loss. So all my best to you, and I hope this was helpful, and have a great week, everyone.